Boker Tov, everybody. So I will first of all start off by saying that this week's Parsha is a little special to me. It is the 20th anniversary of my bat mitzvah, which was Shemini. I'm gonna celebrate it in a couple of weeks on Shabbat because it'll be Shabbat Hagadol, which it was Shabbat Hagadol and Shemini. But this week we have Shemini, and there's a few notable things that happen in this portion. I want to talk for a moment about kashrut. The laws of kashrut are given in this portion. And I know kashrut is something that a lot of people struggle with. I want to point out a few things about how it's laid out in this portion and how it relates to us as a people. So first of all, it lists a whole host of animals that are considered clean versus unclean, what animals to eat, what animals not to eat, when you do eat them, how to go about if you're slaughtering the animal to make it a kosher slaughter, right? So all of these details are laid out in this portion. So first of all, I want to talk about how many people have discussed the relevancy of the laws of kashrut over the years, and not just the relevance, but also why these laws exist, and try to explain and try to figure them out. I think on a surface level, we do them because God tells us to, right? But on another level, there are other elements to the importance of kashrut. So one of them is the fact that the avoiding the unclean animals could have been considered a food safe practice, right? A lot of the animals that were avoided being eaten were called unclean. A lot of them were causing people to get sick in those days, right? So that was a big reason in favor of keeping kosher. Some people also point out that perhaps the laws of shechting, of kosher slaughter for the animals, may be considered more humane. Certainly in those times was considered more humane than other ways that animals were slaughtered. If you also consider the fact that some people were even, and pardon me for getting graphic, but killing only, like taking part of the animal while leaving the rest of it alive while it was suffering. That's not something that our people ever did. Right? We made sure it was a clean slaughter. It was instantaneous, and in those days, that was certainly very important. I think so. If you take those things together, there's a lot of importance to that. Also, the idea of avoiding mixing meat and milk. If you consider the meaning behind the milk, right? That was for nourishing their young. Right, so the idea of mixing a slaughtered animal with the milk, the dairy that was meant for its young, mixing life and death, right? Considering that meaning behind it, it makes a lot of sense that our people avoided that. We like to create that separation, that boundary between those two things, and it's considered respectful to the life of the animal, right? But I want to talk about, I think, the more important part about this, which is the sense of community that kashrut creates in those days. Right? If you consider all of these laws taken together, you know exactly which animals you can eat, which ones you can't, exactly how to go about eating them. That process is a big part of what forms a cohesiveness as a people. Because when you consider forming a community, you think about food. We all come to the table for food, right? And it's a big part of our life as Jews, or just as people, as part of a community. So if you consider that some animals were not eaten, and some animals had to be eaten, killed in a certain way in order to be eaten, that automatically creates a sense of community, because people have to come together around food in that way. In those times, that was certainly a very crucial element to what formed our unity as a people. Coming together, we had to, in forming a new town, yes, you have to make sure there's a mikvah. You have to make sure you set up, a synagogue, but you have to make sure there's a kosher butcher for the people who eat meat, and be able to do that, right? That's a very crucial part of forming a community. And so today, I know there's a variety of people who keep kosher, don't keep kosher, will eat certain things, not eat certain things, make certain allowances. But I think the food traditions that we retain today, what foods we eat and how we go about eating them, you can still draw to this day a direct line all the way back to this portion. So I just wanted you to consider that for this morning. Thank you.